the biggest factor that led to the huge expectation was the people's yearning for change. People have been yearning for change for several years. Over the past 24 years, they have been led, ruled by the PDP in Delta State. Now, in 8 of those years, they were led at the federal level by the APC, who seemed to have worsened the situation over the last 8 years. Now, in that time, even that 8 years would have been attributed to the PDP. So, for the people, our situation has gone from relatively good in the first 8 years to bad to worse. And they see the options that they have, that if they are not careful with the options that they have outside the Labour Party, they will get worse. Like I say, the expectations are that APC and PDP were like Otapiapi and Sniper. So the only choice they had was the Labour Party. Now, before this election, they had seen every attempt to assert their votes, for their votes to count. They've seen every attempt fail. All right. Now, the build-up to the 2023 election was such that we had the 2022 Electoral Act that gave hope that if the process is followed, people's votes will count. That saw the introduction of the beavers. That gave hope that the rigging that comes with overvoting from lack of accreditation would not happen. That gave hope that the rigging that comes with manipulation of results after voting will stop with the introduction of the IREV. So people went to the election with hope. And that hope came to fruition by the February 25th presidential election, where the process was largely relatively free and fair until the collation process, all right, where a little bit of manipulation happened. But then it had happened. And so people were happy that they were able to have their votes count. So they began to look forward to the March 11 that was postponed to March 18th governorship election with hope that for once they will be able to make a change. So those are the factors that led to the huge hope that people went to the March 18th elections with.
Well, you see, we worked very hard to be able to get where we are today. You know that in Delta State before, nobody recognizes nobody recognizes Labour Party. But fortunately, Obi's entrance into the party boomed Labour Party, and coupled with the obedient movement, so that boosted the party and made it what it is today. And you are sure that on 25th of February, we cleared the state with a very wide margin that anybody least expected. But unfortunately, you equally saw what happened on the 18th of March. It was an eyesore, it was an aberration, but all is empty. We know that on a free and fair election, we will repeat exactly what we did on 25th of February.
As a person, what led me to begin to want to serve the people were a combination of things. One was the desire to change the lives of our people, and I largely tried to do that from my background in the private sector. I felt that we could do that from that perspective. However, it got to a point where I realized that without being involved in public service, there's a limit to what one could do. And so when I had the leading God's call to do this, I decided to do it. I wasn't too keen on politics, but I believe that when God directs you and leads you, He's able to make a way for you. So that's what made me eventually go into it. Now, you asked the question about the resources of the people that have been lack of a better word, thrown into the desperation of holding on to power that some of our leaders have attempted to do. There's a limit to where they can go. I believe that evil cannot continue to triumph over good. I believe that the time for good to triumph has come. I believe that everything that led to the 2023 elections were orchestrated by God. I believe that, the Bible says all things work together for good. So I believe that even what is happening today will work together for the good of the people of God who have called on His name over the years to save this country, all right, to save this state. I am confident that evil shall not continue to triumph over good. I am confident that the will of the people will prevail, and what they have done, the money they have spent, will be wasted. That desperation will come to naught. I am confident about that.
Well, you see, the politics of Delta State, if Labour Party have not come to stay, we won't beat them the way we beat them on 25th of February. We beat them hands down. Labour Party got about 341,000. PDP got 161,000. APC got 90,000. So you won't compare it. Forget about that. It was after that beating they decided that it is now a do or die affair. They were paying people as much as $10,000 to make sure they get them. They were paying people enormously, giving you mouth-watering offer that you cannot, if you're not a strong man, that you cannot turn down. So at the end of the day, I think at any given day, on a free and fair election, we'll still beat them again.
My advice is not to be discouraged. Again, like I said earlier, all things work together for good. I believe that if things were easy, we will not know that it is God. So I'm confident that whatever is happening will work out for the good of Nigeria, will work out for the good of Delta. I am confident that again, evil will not triumph. So let's follow due process. I have said before now that destroying hope is dangerous, because what has kept people going is hope that things will change. And destroying that hope is dangerous, because then people, when people's backs are to the wall, they would react. I would rather we have peaceful change than have violent change, because those who make peaceful change impossible make violent change inevitable. So my advice and appeal to the people is to wait for the process to go through, and I'm confident that that process will come to fruition.
Yes, our advice to them is that they should keep calm. We are pursuing the situation, and at the end of the day, we must come out victoriously. So we want them to be calm and watch us do these things, because definitely, the level of indebtedness they have plunged Delta State into is not what anybody will just look over. So I'm sure that Deltans are waiting to see what will happen, and we will leave no stone unturned.
Through this election, I've gone through the indignities of being maligned. It has been said that I am a stooge at some point it was said I was a stooge for the former governor, James Ibori, in case his prodigy, David did not win his case. That came and went, and I didn't see James Ibori back in me. Then at a point, it was said that I was a stooge for the Deputy Senate President and that I would step down eventually for him. Elections came and went, I didn't step down for anybody. And then it was said that I'm a stooge for the current governor and that I was going to step down for his candidate. And the elections came and went. And the latest one I'm hearing is that I've been paid 500 million not to go to court and to accept the results. Let me say to Deltans unequivocally, the other day a friend of mine called me, a friend of mine who's in government. I haven't spoken to him since I began this race for several months. I don't think I've spoken to him in over a year. And he calls me and tells me to take it philosophically. And I laughed and said, yes, I will. Yes, I'll take it philosophically. I take it philosophically because a dear friend, an older sister who turned 75, who would have turned 75 today had she been alive. She died when she was coming to this place for the inauguration of my campaign council. At 75, rather than be at home retired, she was fighting for a new Nigeria. She was fighting for a better Delta. At 75, she was fighting for the future of our children. For the sake of people like her, I swore that we will fight this cause to the end. Change. I wouldn't have bothered too much if the people had voted for the people in power or for who they declared. I wouldn't have been bothered. I would have taken it philosophically that I lost. But I know I didn't lose. I know the people's will was perverted. I would be failing people like her if I don't do something about it. So unequivocally, I'm telling Deltans that I am fighting. I have already issued a statement that will reject the results. We are fighting for our mandate. We believe that the Labour Party won these elections and we're going to fight to recover that mandate.
It is no longer rumor, it is a real. We are challenging it at all levels because we knew that what happened weren't elections. If it were elections, we will know. We don't need to bother ourselves. If we had gone for free and fair election and you win, we will congratulate you. But when it is this sham election they conducted, the beavers were not working. In some places they didn't even bring the beaver at all. So you must know that we will not fold our hands and watch them. We will definitely go to tribunal to contest it. It doesn't matter what the tribunal says at the end of the day, but we must fulfill all righteousness.
I was quite devastated by the events of the last 1 week. The polls, and considering that we have spent so much on getting it right, even for nearly 4 years we've been planning, and for us to see that all the plans, just went to naught. I mean, it's rather painful because we have spent billions of naira just to ensure that we get it right. And this same method, modus operandi, is what obtains in developed countries. And they are doing well. So why is it that in the hands of an African man, we always look for a way to circumvent? I mean, it's really not good. We should try as much as possible to live up to the age. This is the internet age. This is the age where we should be able to prove to the world that we can actually, compete favorably with any other country outside, out there. But we are showing ourselves like we really are not independent. That we must, for INEC to work, are we saying that we should employ foreigners to run INEC as a body? I mean, that says that we are telling the world that we are not of age. I mean, we got INEC officials, trained them with our hard-earned money, and they go there and do things upside down. I mean, even if people were trying to rig, let me say contestants, if INEC stood its grounds and said this is the way it must go, nothing would happen. I mean, I kept saying to myself, what is in, go there, pick your ballot, do your fingerprint, and drop in the box, and go your way. I mean, without even any effort, we expect things to go freely because the beavers is there to do all the calculations, uploading and all that. People have been trained, and we just found out these things didn't work out fine. I think it shouldn't be a source of discouragement to anybody. Rather, it should bring out people who are bent on making the path straight. I think I'm more invigorated. I'm not chickening away. I am resolved to do the right thing. And doing the right thing means that you don't run away, because he who runs away lives to fight another day. So why run away? Stay and stand your ground and say this is how it should go. And I think the problem we have in this country is that we don't have a penal system that works. Because anybody who is involved in malpractices, by the time, you know, a number of them are jailed, and people are no sacred cow, even for those people who are behind the scene prodding these people to do it. If you are revealed to be somebody who has participated in it, whether remotely or directly, and you are punished, you are jailed, I mean, it will stop. It's just because, you know, we treat these things with kids' gloves. I expect that all reports of INEC officials who have indulged in malpractices in the field should be punished. There must be conditions spelled out before they even took the job, conditions of service. If you do this, this is the penalty. Penalty should hold. We don't even expect it to take time. So sometimes we treat things, you know, gloss over things, because we believe that by the time you make 2 or 3 calls, somebody will tell you, still action. I mean, that shouldn't happen. The hastiness with which they announced that result, if that same hastiness is applied to punishing people who have, you know, done such malpractices, I think we'll be getting somewhere. Up to this point, we've not heard that anybody has been arraigned, anybody has been locked up, has been arrested. Even if anybody was arrested, if you go and check, he would have been released. So I think we should call a spade a spade. That is where we are.